Welcome to another movie plot and enjoy the memories. It begins 4 centuries after a rock band ushered in a worldwide utopia based around the belief of being excellent to each other. Students of this time are greeted by Professor Rufus and his time-traveling phone booth with the likes of Thomas Edison, Johann Bach and Faith No More's Sir James Martin. He's also brought along the 23rd century's Rhea Paschal, who invented an instrument called the Stereophonic Oxygenetic Amplifier Graphophone or Delaverberator. He teaches them about the band Wild Stallions and their music, which is the central pillar of their entire society, while nearby his old mentor Nomolos plots against him. Leading a team of terrorists into the school, Nomo detests this musical society and wants the time machine to send his 2 robots modeled after the Wild Stallions back to the 20th century to kill them. He commands Evil Bill and Evil Ted to give a speech at the Battle of the Bands that will destroy the pair's legacy and sends them with the phone booth on their way. But in an attempt to prevent Nomo's plan, Rufus throws a guitar into the booth and gets dragged along into the circuits of time. In present-day Wild Stallions, William S. Preston Esquire and Ted Theodore Logan are preparing for the concert, but they're still inept singers and rather lousy guitarists. Ted's girlfriend Elizabeth and Bill's Joanna are former 15th century princesses who traveled through time and became more skilled at their modern instruments than their boyfriends. Bill insists that it's just because girls mature faster than boys, while Ted tells the concert organizer Ms. Wardroe that the girls are from the medieval England in Ohio. Despite their shortcomings, Wardroe assures the Wild Stallions the final slot in the contest, where the pair plan to make enough money to begin their families. At night, the boys attend Ted's father, Police Captain Logan's birthday party, where he has Colonel Oats threaten his son with military school should he lose at the Battle of the Bands. Bill's former stepmother Missy also attends and is now married to Ted's father after divorcing Bill's and leaving him a blubbering mess. That night, Bill and Ted propose to Liz and Joe, who both agree to marry them and receive little plastic placeholders until the boys can get some real money. Things are afoot at the Circle K as Evil Bill and Ted arrive to report the information back to Nomo that Rufus was lost to the circuits of time. They begin phase 1 of their evil plan by calling the boys and imitating the voices of the princesses in order to break up with them. Then, as Bill and Ted try to figure out how to get the girls back while watching Shatner running up Vasquez Rocks, they're visited by their evil counterparts who pretend like they've come from the future to help them get the girls back. Despite their bad feeling about it, Bill and Ted agree to accompany them into the desert, where they now openly admit to planning on killing them and taking their lives. Bill punches himself in the metal skull, but Evil him feels no pain and shows off his robotic insides as they begin to take the boys up Shatner Rock. At the top, they push Bill and Ted off, killing them and sending their souls to the afterlife, where they're met by the man with no tan death. The boys ask if there's any way to win back their lives, so the Reaper challenges them to a game for their souls but claims that he never loses. Deciding it's best to just give death a Melvin and run back to San Dimas, they attempt to warn their family but find the robots already messing things up. They're behaving rudely to the babes and working hard to ruin the duo's relationship, which has the girls turn down their marriage proposal. Unable to be seen in their ethereal forms, the pair decide to go to the police station and possess Ted's dad to warn the authorities about the robot invasion from the future. The captain obviously sounds crazy even when Bill possesses Deputy James to support his claims, but they get too distracted by donuts. When they think they've done enough convincing, the pair expel themselves from their host's bodies and visit Missy, who's in the middle of conducting a seance. Trying to warn her about their evil counterpart, Ted gets distracted once again, checking out Missy until being reminded that she's now his mom. They begin arguing over which one of them should be looking when Missy exorcises the spirits and the boys are cast down into hell, where they take an awfully long time to finish falling. Once they land, they get the attention of the devil, who retracts their floating platform into a fiery pit, but the 2 boys escape and politely ask if they can leave. He obviously refuses and drops them into the pit of corridors, where they're each made to face their fears for eternity. It first manifests as an exaggerated version of Oats, who orders the 2 slackers to give him infinity push-ups while the colonel torments them with verbal abuse. They decide to run away from that mess and split up in the corridors to look for a way out, but are transformed into their younger selves. Bill's confronted by Granny S. Preston Esquire, while Ted apparently took chocolate eggs from his little brother 10 years ago and is made to face the Easter Bunny. Before Granny can give Bill a big ol' prickly kiss, he breaks free and the 2 Wild Stallions meet up in Hell's corridors once again. The devil launches them both back into the wall and continues to send the nightmarish creations, so Bill and Ted decide that their only escapes to take Death's offer. Taken to Death's chambers, the 2 are given the choice of what game they play for their freedom, so Bill and Ted choose battleships and win. Not wanting to concede, Death demands that they play best 2 out of 3, but they keep selecting modern games like electric football and winning every time. Best 3 out of 5 doesn't work either, as they beat him in Clue when Death insists that he said Colonel Mustard but he clearly said Professor Plum. Finally, he loses at a game of Twister when the Reaper proves not to be flexible enough to beat Bill and concedes to the mortals. He unwillingly becomes their servant because of the defeat and is patronized for playing such a good game despite having his heavy robes weighing him down. Before taking them back to the land of the living, he takes Bill and Ted to heaven where they can ask God to help defeat their evil twins and save the babes. They mug a few poor souls for their disguises, and even though Death isn't happy about his costume, it gets them up to the pearly gate talking to St. Peter. He almost recognizes the pretty lady, but Death's feminine acting gets the boys through undetected where they get to seek counseling from God. They naturally praise him for the creation of the planet Uranus and receive directions to the smartest person in the universe to help defeat Nomolos and his evil robots. They're currently trashing Bill and Ted's tiny apartment and playing ball with their heads while forgetting about the mission. Once they're finished having their fun, the pair are contacted through Ted's eyes by Nomo, who demands they stop fooling around and get back to the mission. They drive a stolen car over to Ted's father's place and crash straight through the front window where the princesses were being comforted by Missy. They kidnap the pair while knocking Missy out with Bill's evil breath and pull apart their stomachs again to expose their true identity to the princesses. Meanwhile, in heaven, the map directs Bill and Ted to twin aliens named Station, who's playing charades with Einstein and readily offers to help save the world. Death brings all 5 of them back to Earth, where he makes a less graceful entrance before they return to San Dimas as it's the night of the big concert. They take Station to a hardware store where he collects supplies to help defeat the robots as Bill and Ted try call the princesses, but it's too late. Their doppelgangers are happy that they'll get to perform their primary function of killing the boys again and go to the concert where they suspend their hostages above the stage for the big finale. Before they leave the hardware store, the Martian twins merge together into a much larger version with an excellently huge behind. The size allows him to more easily construct his own robotic Bill and Ted as they race across town to arrive at the concert just in time. Station hands the boys remote controls for the good robots, and as the evil versions take the stage, they crash the party with a back and forth of who's the real wild stallions. With the whole crowd confused, the less than believable pair of robots break down a wall, march straight up to the evil ones and knock their heads off into the audience. The evil stallions are defeated as the boys reunite with their fiancées, but the phone booth suddenly arrives and Nomolos steps out. Ready to kill Bill and Ted himself, he overrides the broadcasting equipment to send his message and the band's demise to every person on the planet. Recognizing that if they survive this, then their future selves can use the time machine to go back to the past and arrange events, the boys rig up a sandbag to knock the gun from Nomo's hand at this exact moment and a cage to trap him inside. Though Nomo is apparently able to do the same with a key and a new gun, Bill and Ted planted them both as they explain that only the winners get to go back and change the past. As Nomo's arrested by Captain Logan and receives a Melvin from Death that he seems to enjoy, Ms. Wardroe reveals herself to have been Rufus in disguise, which explains why she gave a mediocre band the best slot at the whole concert. He urges them to play, and with the realization that they're still terrible musicians, they come up with a plan. Within a minute, they've used the time booth for an intense 16 months of guitar training before returning to the concert as the bearded rock stars they were meant to be. They got married, had a honeymoon in medieval Europe, and each had children with the opposite friends named Little Ted and Little Bill. The Martian gets on the bongos while Death gets on the bass, but he first raps a new planetary craze before the stallions perform. Playing a rock ballad heard worldwide over the broadcast set by Nomo, it begins the harmony from the future, and the band goes on tour fixing hunger problems, achieving world peace and stopping pollution with air guitar. The Reaper goes on to win the Indy 500 and drop a solo album, but gets exposed in a lip-syncing scandal soon after. Missy ends up marrying Nomo for whatever reason, and the band's tour eventually takes them to Station's home planet of Mars. And the movie ends.